when it comes to cryptocurrencies, we are in a speculative bubble. We are at the beginning of a new industry. This happens all the time. When I was a young, coming out of my teens into my 20s, I was involved in the tech boom / bust. And that wasn't vapor. It certainly wasn't vapor. I mean, the Amazon was really, and Google were the big companies that came out of that. So those are legitimate wins, but there were a lot of losses. There was a lot of money thrown in by a lot of people who didn't know what they were doing. And I want to talk about that a little bit. The reason why this is sparking off to me, there's a story about Joe Kennedy, the famous patriarch of the Kennedy family, and when he got out of the stock market just before the stock market crashed. And he said he knew the moment. It wasn't based on any metrics. It wasn't based on anything. He knew the moment because he was on the street getting his shoes shined, and the shoe shine boy gave him a stock tip. Now, a few weeks ago, I started talking to people, and I said, well, I think I've had my shoe shine boy moment because I tweeted this. I said, my least savvy friends are starting to talk to me about cryptocurrency. And I personally have most of my, and again, I want to just give a disclaimer. This is not a financial advice show. I'm not giving you financial advice. I'm telling you my opinion on this situation. While I am a crypto savage, while I am a huge proponent of cryptocurrency, I have most of my wealth in US fiat dollars. I don't speculate in the cryptocurrency markets. If you're a crypto savage, what you do with cryptocurrency is you use it. Anyone who is trying to make money off the increase in any particular cryptocurrency right now, you are gambling. It is gambling. Currencies are meant to do three things: to be a means of exchange, a store of value, and a unit of account. As a means of exchange, that means you take it somewhere and you can purchase something with it. What can you go buy with Bitcoin? Go down the street, within a mile of you, what can you buy for Bitcoin? What can you buy for cash, Visa, even a gift card? Right? Not much with cryptocurrency. Store of value? Is it a store of value? I don't know. That remains to be seen, and it definitely depends on when you get in, when you buy in. The one thing I know about my cash that I have in safes and in anonymous private vaults, the one thing I know about that cash is $1,000 stack is pretty much going to get me about the same amount of goods a month from now, 2 months from now, 3 months from now, 4 months from now, next year, probably 2 years from now. That's a really good store of value. And unit of account, I mean, no currency is particularly good at that. That's more like in the IOU phase. But you got to think about that. So with Swarm City in particular, the reason why that's one of the few projects that I'm willing to put my money into is because I'm there to actually use it, to use it. Like I tell people, I first started buying, I bought my first Bitcoin when it was at $15 in 2013. And people were like, oh my God. And yeah, when it went to 1,000, I hadn't bought that much. The reason I had bought it was because I was starting to develop software using it. I was interested in seeing if it was a cool means of doing some exchanges without having to deal with PayPal and whatnot. It had some utility. And what's funny is, and I often show people this email, that I was just buying it hand to hand, and one of the guys in town offered to sell me $2,500 worth of Bitcoin for $14. And my response is, I'm going to pass. I think it's a little overpriced. And the fact of the matter is, I still think it's overpriced. Still. And I've been talking about this bubble. Throw up this, I just want to show, because this is not a new position for me. I just want to show this, throw up this bubble thing. So this was 28th of April, 2017. The reason why I want to say this is, well, come back to me real quick, Christian. I want to tell the story that's backing this up because it's important. A friend of mine who I know, who's a fellow anarchist, reached out to me few days ago, saying he had some money he wanted to invest in. What should he invest in? And I told him, these are the things that I'm holding. These are the things that I believe in. I have no faith in Bitcoin. I'm holding Ethereum. I'm holding Swarm City token, SWAT. And I think SWAT was at the time at somewhere around $5. Now, when I said to buy it, was at $1.20. Do I think it's going to go above $5, $6? Well, clearly I do, because I held it when it was at $6. After this release, it fell. I think it's at about something like $3. And the thing is, this particular friend said he had some money. Not only did he have some money, but he was going to, that the bank would give him a loan, and he was going to take out a loan to throw it into cryptocurrency. And I said, these are the things that I'm holding. These are the things that I believe in. He said, okay. He told me he went off and got these, however many thousands of dollars worth of cryptocurrency. And then when SWAT dipped, which it did, now mind you, I bought at 120. If it's at 320, I feel very good in a month and a half. What other kind of investment? I can't make that putting it in the bank. He said a day after he had bought it, when it dropped, he said, I'm going to get out. I'm going to get out now. I'm seeing that it's dropped. Simultaneously, he was buying this stuff without ever having opened a wallet. He didn't know how to send it. He didn't really know what it did. This is going to be the case with a lot of people. So you got to ask yourself, every time you go and you buy cryptocurrency, you are buying it from someone who is selling it at that moment. And you have to ask, in this trade, am I the shoeshine boy or am I Joe Kennedy? And if you don't know anything about how to even move the asset that you're about to buy, you are the shoeshine boy. And Joe Kennedy's selling. Keep that in mind. So go throw up these slides. So this is 28th of April. This is when I decided SWAT is a good buy. Why do I decide SWAT is a good buy? Because I looked at it, I knew the product, I knew the project, I had been following it. I had actually already talked to people involved with the project personally. As a matter of fact, before I bought anything, Matthew Carano, who I had had on the show, before I bought, asked him how to run through all of this, and then I bought like $3 worth of SWAT and moved it around until I felt comfortable. I already knew I was trying to be Joe Kennedy. I wasn't the shoeshine boy. It wasn't just some 3 letters that I had heard of. Go to the next slide. So this is 2 days later. I'm telling you, this is a huge speculative bubble. There's a bunch of shoeshine boys. And the shoeshine boys are going to drive the price up, and then it's going to crash because they don't even know why the price would go up. Why would it go up? This is my tweet 2 days later. The next bubble is here. Stage is set for initial coin offerings on the Ethereum Classic blockchain. We'll go to the next one. This Eric Voorhees tweeted the 9th of May, just like 2 weeks later. We're going to have Eric on the show. He's the founder of Shapeshift. Shapeshift.io. And he says Bitcoin soars above 1,700 as market cap adds $1 billion in just 24 hours. And my response, double, toil and trouble, wealth will burn in this crypto market bubble. I've thought Bitcoin was overvalued at $800 because there's no fundamentals underneath it. None. Why should it be even more than 1-to-1? The reason why the price has gone up is because people are gambling. But would you sit down and play a game that you didn't even know the rules of the game? Would you come to Vegas and sit down and play blackjack if you didn't even know that you needed to get to 21? The value of this movement, the value of cryptocurrency, the value of the blockchain, the value of tokens is to use it, not to gamble. not to gamble. This is not the first time in history this has happened. This is a normal cycle. We talked about the skyscraper curse on this show, and how skyscrapers are being built before bubbles happen, and skyscrapers are being built right now. In the 1630s, go and Google tulip mania. In the 1630s, tulip bulbs, tulips, the flowers, a single bulb was selling for as much as a luxury house. One tulip bulb. There's a story of a sailor who came in who didn't know what was going on and got thrown in jail for eating what he thought was an onion. It was an expensive tulip bulb. But see, he's the kid who sees that the emperor has no clothes. Is cryptocurrency valuable? Absolutely. It's probably the most valuable invention that's come along in the last 300 years. But it's valuable when you can use it. So do you want to get rich off cryptocurrency? And this will be my last part on this rant, and then we'll move forward. But I needed to say it. And we'll chop this up, and I hope that this sits there, and I hope that you share it, and I hope that you think about it. Do you want to get rich off cryptocurrency? You can get rich in the same way that the people who were in the tech boom got rich. You want to get rich off cryptocurrency? There's a language. It's called Solidity. It's a computer language, programming language. It's a language that's used to write Ethereum smart contracts. However much money you are going to spend, even if you don't know how to code, however much money you are going to spend investing in crypto markets, especially if you know how to code, just go and learn Solidity and start writing smart contracts. If you don't know how to code, take whatever money you were going to invest and go and take some classes at a place like IronYard that will teach you how to code, and then learn Solidity. Because once you have that, you will be valuable, and people will give you money to create the tokens that people are going to blow their money on. That's how you get rich. You want the money that's going to come into this market? Write the smart contracts that are turned into the tokens that are vaporware that get sold. That's who's going to get rich. Don't forget, if you're sick of left-right politics and you want more freedom, be sure to check out countermarkets.com in the link below this video.